right, so we're going to look briefly at multiplying fractions. Now, multiplying fractions is one of the, I would say, the easiest operations to do with fractions because it's pretty straightforward. Okay, there's not a lot of common, you don't have to do common denominators, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. You're just going to multiply. So we'll look at our example right here. Let's say we had 2/3 and we had to multiply that by 1/2. To multiply fractions, no common denominators, just start multiplying. Numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator, and then you got to simplify. We could divide both of these by 2. Right, that's a common factor, and so we would end up with 1/3 as an answer. Okay, and that's because we're really multiplying by 1/2. That's the same thing as dividing by 2, so that's why we're getting a smaller answer. Now we could also cross simplify, and that's what I'm going to be doing for the rest of these. Now I have a video on cross simplifying too that you could watch if you're not sure what that is. But so we could divide these both by 2, and then we can multiply across, and we get 1/3. So we get the same thing. But all we'd have to do, multiply numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. Okay, so let's look at what if we had a mixed number. So what if we had something like 2 2/3 times, let's do 1/2. So before I can multiply, what the common mistake is people just multiply the fraction part and just add the 2 on the end, but that doesn't work. You have to turn it into an improper fraction first. So we'll turn this into an improper fraction. 2 times 3 is 6, plus the 2 pieces I had up top, that means 8/3. So 2 2/3 is the same thing as 8/3. Multiplication, I had a 1/2. Now I'm going to cross simplify. Look at those diagonals. You can divide those both by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 8 divided by 2 is 4. And then I just multiply across. Numerator times numerator is 4. Denominator times denominator is 3. 4/3 is the same thing as 1 1/3 if I was to turn that into a mixed number. Okay. It's easy. Pretty straightforward. We're going to do one more. Let's have 2 mixed numbers this time. What if we had 3 3/4 times 1 1/3? Now remember, you're going to turn them into improper fractions. Common mistake is people just do fraction times fraction and whole number times whole number. You got to turn them into improper fractions. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 3 is 15, so I could rewrite that as 15/4. Multiplication stays there. 1 1/3, it's 3 plus 1, that's 4/3. And then I'm just going to cross simplify. I'm going to look at my diagonals, 15 and 3. Oh, I can divide those both by 3. 4 and 4, I can divide those both by 4. Ooh, this one works out really nicely. 5 times 1 is 5. 1 times 1 is 1. That's going to equal 5 as an answer. Okay, so pretty straightforward. If you wind up ever in a situation where you're just multiplying, you have a whole number. Let's say you had something like 4 times 2/3. All you got to do is put it over 1. And then you can do numerator times numerator. Oops, 8. Denominator times denominator is 3. And then turn that into a mixed number. 2 2/3. That'd be my answer. So you just numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator.